Hey y'all, so I am going to start this vlog off with a quick little project. One of my friends is getting promoted in the military, and so I was going to make a little cup. So I have my little station going on, and so I'm kind of late because it is on the first, well, Tuesday, and I have not started. And I don't know if y'all have made cups before, but it takes a while because you have to let it cure for some hours or whatever, and then I have to make the lettering, put it on there, and then I have to do a top coat. So I'm cutting it kind of close, but I'm going to do it today, so I'm just kind of getting that set up right now. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm just gonna have it spinning probably all night, and then I'll add the words on it tomorrow. I was trying to go for like a camo type of look with the greens and browns. I don't know if I've achieved that. That little area looks pretty good to me, but some of it looks a little bit more green than I probably would have wanted, but I think it'll work. So this is what it looks like. Okay, y'all, so I am going to make mackerel and tomato sauce. I don't know, I have mackerel and I have tomato paste, so I did a quick little Pinterest search and found that. So that's what I'm gonna make. I hate touching raw meat. But yeah, while I do this, I wanted to tell y'all about my NACA meeting. I'm gonna talk and cut. So I had my meeting on the 20th. If you've seen my previous videos, you'll see that I mentioned that I went to my meeting with my counselor, and she gave me all these compliments about how my file was so put together and she could find everything and blah blah blah. And I'll link the videos in the description box as well, so that you can kind of like see, you know, where I'm coming from, so I don't have to like tell the whole story over. So in this meeting that I had on the 20th, I was so excited because I was told that, you know, I was going to be pushed to qualifications. And so I'm like all excited and everything, and telling my friends like, yeah, because they've been very supportive throughout the whole process. And you know, so I just kind of talked to them about where I am with it so far, whatever. And they, you know, I was letting them know, and they're like, yes, this is good, because I was getting nervous because I don't know if y'all check the website, but the rates are going up. So in the, what was it, before I had my meeting, so what, in the beginning of January, the rates were like 2.125, I believe. And over the course of a week, it has jumped to 2.625. And just to kind of like, I know this is kind of putting my business out, but like I am on the edge of being able to afford a home in the DMV area. So like that jump is a big, why can't I cut this? That jump is a big one for me, because like if it gets to 3%, with the salary I have right now, I just gonna have to sign a lease. Like I will not be able to, based on, you know, NACA's thing and based on affordability and all of that, I won't be able to afford it. Like I just won't. So 3% is my like max. And even then, with the prices also going up, I don't know. So, you know, I get to the meeting and we go over like everything I had done so far. You know, she was putting in all of my account information and all of that, whatever it is that she does. And she was doing it on the screen, you know, going over like the dollar amounts and like the amounts I've been able to save and blah, blah, blah. And kind of talking about that. And she's like, yeah, you're doing so good, da, 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 da. And at this point, I start to kind of realize, like, I don't think she remembers who I am, because she's talking. Oh, my elbows are ashy. She's talking to me, and you know, it wasn't given the same energy of you're putting my thing on qualifications today. So she's going through, yeah, I think you'll be ready, you know, come, you know, and she's like, I'd hate to do this to you, you know, because you're going to be like in a hot market, but, you know, I think that you'll be ready around, like, what did she say? Because she asked me when my eyes are burning. She asked me when my lease was over, and I told her it was over in August, and she was like, oh, you know, you have time. And so she was like, yeah, you know, I'd hate to put you in a hot market, but, you know, it'll give you some time to save money. And all of this to basically say she wasn't pushing me to qualifications that day. So she's like, yeah, you'll be able to save some more money. You know, you have the funds that we require, but, you know, to give you a little bit more funds and something else, you know, but like I'll be in a hot market because it'll be the summer. And she's like, yeah, you know, so we would look to clear you at around like June or something, and so that I could find a house and be out when my lease is up in August. And she's like, you know, like I always like to ask, how do you feel about it or whatever. And I was like, well, I honestly thought I would be, you know, sent to qualifications today. And she was like, okay, you know, okay. Well, you know, you said your lease was over in August. You know, have you thought about like how much that would be to break your lease and all of that? And I'm like, yeah, it's only one extra payment. So like my lease breaking fee is one rental payment. So like I pay rent. Let's say I wanted to break my lease in June. I have to give them 60-day notice. April, May. So in April, I'll pay my rent, but then I'll also pay the $1,708 again to say I want to break my lease in June. That's it. And of course, if they, I guess, don't want to allow me or whatever, they'll just hold my money until the lease is over, whatever the case may be. But it just costs the same amount of rent. And where I live it's close to a school and everything, so I don't think they would really like hold me hostage in my lease. Plus I've been kind of giving them hell about some of the stuff that's been going on, so I don't think that they will hold me. I don't think they will hold me. But anyway, so I told her like it would only cost the extra payment to break my lease, and she was like, you know, okay, well, because I told her, she was like, well, what do you think your timeline, what did you imagine your timeline to be? And I was like, well, I imagine I would be sent to qualifications in February and be, you know, looking March, April, May-ish to find something, and then, you know, sign in June, either break my lease or continue to pay the rent or whatever, and do it that way. I don't care if I break my lease early. I want to break my lease early. Like, I don't care. And so she was like, you know, okay, but, you know, when I clear people, like, I'm expecting them to, like, go out and buy a house, you know, not, like, look around. You know, when you get clear, she's expecting, like, contract, not just, like, browsing and blah, blah, blah. And, like, a realtor isn't gonna want to keep, you know, showing you houses that you're not ready to buy and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. I just thought I was going to be put to qualifications today. So I hear you, but like, what are we doing? Because the only things that she wanted me to have for the next meeting are my W-2s, which I had before they were out. So I have them now. She wanted to have my W-2s. I already uploaded my tax transcripts from the previous 2 years. What else did she want? My next pay stub or whatever, a student loan letter that I had already uploaded. And she needed the address to my previous landlord because I rented a home and not a complex. And I texted the lady while we were on the phone. So, and she responded like right after we got off of the call or whatever. But either way, like I had all these things ready to get to you, if not in this moment, within 20 minutes. So I was just like irritated with that because a lot of the documents that she was looking for was there, but it was like buried, and she didn't really allow time to either get it or for me to send it to her for her to have, because I had it on my phone. I was on my iPad. I have it on my phone and my computer. Like I have all of that up because I have Apple products, and I don't know if y'all are familiar, but there's the app files, and you can have your iCloud thing, and it can go across all devices. So I have my NACA folder on there with all of my documents like ready to go. So I could be talking to you on iPad. I could be talking to you on the iPad and send you something off of my computer from my phone. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but either way. So I'm like, you know, she's like, well, I don't see this in student loans, because she tried to say that my student loan payments were going to be 1% of what I owe. I only owe about $18,000 for student loans, and so she was like, you know, they're going to just factor in my payment as $180. No, ma'am. I only pay $56, and right now we're in forbearance or whatever it's called, so I don't pay anything. But my actual amount is $56 until October. I am on one of those income driven repayment plans. If you are not on one, I suggest you go and get on one, because it may make your payments cheaper. So I'm like, no, my payments are not 180, it's 56. And I had uploaded a letter at our previous meeting where they typed out all of the amounts that I owe. They typed out what my payment was before the COVID relief, and when my payments will have to be renewed, which is October, which is well after I would be cleared, so I wouldn't have to get another letter. So all of that was set, and that was something that she commented on specifically when we had our previous meeting. So this is when I started to realize, like, you don't even remember who you're talking to, or like my case, because we've had this conversation already. So yeah, like, it was frustrating. And then I'm like, I find later on, I'm like on YouTube or whatever, and I find a different video about the timeline of buying a house, and like when you go into contract, when you're expected to pay your first mortgage and everything like that. And they have a calculator, and I'll link the video down below. And they have a calculator that like you put in when you want to close by, and it'll tell you when you move in, or like when your mortgage is due or whatever. And if I were to wait on her to be cleared and looking in like July, I would be sitting here with nowhere to live. And that may be me being like dramatic and overthinking or whatever, but I live in the DMV. These houses, one, are not cheap. Two, they go fast. So I'm like, and from what I've seen, and people have a hard time getting their offers approved because it's a NACA loan for one. And then of course, like I said in the beginning, I don't have a lot of money to be way above asking and all of that. Like, I don't have that. So I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to get a house that I want. And I don't want anything that's like too picky. I want a townhome, which is very, very common. I want a townhome, but I want a reasonable HOA. I don't want to pay $400 in HOA fees. I can do $100 or $150, but I don't want to do more than that. And I honestly don't want to do that. But I'm like, I have a very realistic wish list or whatever, because like I said, I've been looking on realtor.com and like Redfin or whatever regularly to know what my money can buy. And right now, I can barely buy it. So I told her, you know, like what my timeline was, which is that I get cleared in February, and I have March, April, May to look and find a place. By May, I get in contract, that's June, move in July, and by that time, I don't have to pay a mortgage until I think September or something like that, whatever the calculator said. I'll try to like insert it somewhere in the video or whatever. So I'm like, my timeline makes sense for me because I don't like to be rushed. I don't like to not have nowhere to live. Of course, I have friends I can stay with, but I have to move all of this out to then move it somewhere else. And then with my price point, I'm sure I'm gonna need to fix some things. Like it would be too hectic for me. So she heard what I said, and she's like, yeah, okay, well, we can set up a meeting for February, I think it's the 18th. either the 12th, I think it's the 18th, February 18th or whatever, where she will, you know, get my file ready to get sent to qualification. So I'm like, okay, thank you. But I don't know, because I'm playing with time, and I don't know, this is probably me being dramatic or like worrisome, but it was just frustrating because you really sat here and told me in whatever month that was, November, that I was going to be ready to be qualified this meeting in January. Get to January, I've made my savings goals. I don't have a payment shop because I pay too much in rent already. And I've been saving more than the $200 that y'all wanted me to save. I have a job. I have my participation because I had 2 of my friends attend meetings. So I'm like, I have all my tax documents from what I can get, because taxes aren't due until, what is it, April? So I'm like, I have everything that y'all need. All of my statements are up. All of that is up. I don't understand why I can't get put on today. And then apparently, because where I'm at now, I haven't been here for a year. I guess they averaged the amounts that I paid from my previous place to this place. So who even knows how much I'm going to get qualified for? Because I'm basing my qualification off of my base rent, which is $1,708, not what I actually pay, which is like $1,900. So, and I don't want to pay $1,900 anyway. But like, if they're basing it off of my base rent, $1,700, and then they're taking the average of what I used to pay when I had a roommate, I'm probably only gonna get clear for like $1,500 a month. And I live in a, what am I gonna do with that? So I don't know. It's my little rant. This is my rant about it. Cause I don't know. And so now I'm like, I'm gonna need to find another job. Well, one, I don't like my job right now anyway, but I'm gonna need to find another job. And even then, that income probably isn't gonna count towards like the approval amount or whatever. But when it's time, if I have to buy a raid down or whatever the case, I'll have money to do that if I make more and can save that money from the new income. But it's like, I'm really trying to make this work, and I'm just frustrated about that because, girl, what? Like, I'm just hoping that my interest rate don't go up and I don't have any other problems by the time that happens. Because like, at that point, I see why people don't stick with it. And I'm really not trying to think that way, and it's just like frustration because I literally have everything that y'all asked me to have. Unless I don't, please tell me now, because I don't want to get here in February and then something else come up. So that's what happened with NACA in the meeting. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. I don't think I did. And what I can say is, don't upload a whole bunch of like letters and everything prior to them asking for it. Just because that's what I did, and to try to be prepared. And she's like, oh, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this. But like I said, with the way that the file is set up, once you add a new document, it pushes everything down. And you don't have the option to name documents specifically. So depending on where you upload it in your file, you know, if you upload it in the extra documents or whatever, they only give you a list that you're able to use. So like, my student loan document is in there for like a something explanation or something like that, a dead explanation or something, but she can't find it because I've added, I didn't have to, but because I added other letters on top of that, it pushed it down. And I understand that she has other clients and everything, like I understand that, and this is just like me ranting from frustration. Like, even after all of that, like, I do know that the lady is, you know, like, she's for the most part very like together and organized or whatever the case may be. I think that she just has a lot, because you get to see their calendar and every day it's a couple of people and it looks like different people. So, But yeah, I would say don't upload letters unless they specifically ask you for it, because it could just make it more headache than it needs to be, which is what happened in my situation. And so she just told me to email her like a week before the next meeting so that she can get my file together, so that when we meet to put it to qualifications, it doesn't take that long, because it's going to be in the middle of the day. I think this appointment is at like 11 a.m. or something like that, whereas this last one I had was the last one for the night, I thought, unless she added somebody after. But yeah, and she's like, you know, she focuses on people who are close to being clear so that she can just go ahead and get them out of the way or whatever. So I'm like still crossing my fingers that hopefully that's the case and it's like all done and everything. But yeah, so I bought a rice cooker. I know how to make rice on the stove, but it was only $15, and I bought a pink one. And look, it comes with a little pink spoon, and I thought that was so cute. So yeah, I got it from there's a lot of plastic in it. I got it from Home Goods, and it was $14.99. So yeah, which actually comes in handy because I don't feel like making the rice today, so I'm just going to put it in my little rice cooker. And they do work well, because I bought one for my girlfriend. She has a white one, and I thought that it would have come with a white spoon, but it comes with a pink one, and I'm just really loving the little spoon. But yeah, so smooth. I already know the rice is like not good. I don't know how to use a rice maker for real, but I think I put too much water. But anyways, so it came out real good. And it's funny because when I was little, my mama would make fish or like fried fish at night, and then in the morning she would cook it in tomato sauce and grits for breakfast. And I used to always be like, ew, what is that? And now, oh, how the tables have turned, because I'm eating fish in tomato sauce. And I have just been missing out my whole childhood. Like, it is really good. But I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna watch TV and eat, and I'm gonna run this little vacuum, and I'm gonna go to bed. But I have this robot vacuum. It's from Krissy. I got it from Amazon, and I'll leave a link in the I'll leave a link in the description box for it, because it was pretty like reasonably priced. I got my mom one and she loved it for Christmas, and so then I got me one, and it comes with like a little remote and everything and a little charger house, and it just goes around. And you can buy a mop attachment and you fill it up with water and it'll mop for you too. And so the mop is, think of like a Swiffer, you know, like a wet Swiffer. That's about the strength that it does. So if you want a deep clean mop, you'll probably have to do that yourself. But as far as like in between mops where you just want it to kind of, you know, pick up a little bit, it'll do that. But the vacuum works pretty well. And so normally I just, like I said, excuse the mess, but normally I just pick up the chairs and either sit them on the table and kind of like block off areas, because I like vacuum the rug side with like a regular vacuum, because this rug has some pieces that like are up and I don't want the little machine to get caught on it. So like over here in the rug area, I vacuum myself. But as far as like all of the other hardwood area, I just pick the chairs up and kind of like move the trash cans and like whatever else, so that the little machine can make its way around.
I legit almost failed in the West. Not almost. I failed my first class in the West School, and it was either reclass or recycle. And like, it was moving by. Oh, you failed? Recycle, reclass. Failed, reclass. Failed, reclass. I'm truly grateful once again for this society. that was when I knew right then, right there. Like the music style, that's something that I had to strive to become, to be like.